Sleep Number's new collections are designed to adapt to the changing nature of your life and your sleep needs. Whether it's the personalized comfort of the new Comfort Mode mattress, the targeted pressure relief of the Comfort Next mattress, or the Climate Collection that actively cools or warms to help you fall asleep and stay asleep.
And now, get early access to our biggest sale of the year. Save 25% on the new Comfort Next Luxe for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home from our sponsor, Osmond Designs. Here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Kaplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Heather Osmond, owner of the Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores, and new proud owner of the Best of State organization. Let's go. I've spent my entire career helping people create homes they absolutely love. Whether you're buying your first home, moving into your forever home, investing in real estate, or simply curious about where the housing market is headed, you've come to the right place. Real estate is much more than buying four walls and a roof. It's about building memories, creating stability, and for many families, it's the single greatest investment they'll ever make. Today's guests are Josh McReavy, owner and mortgage loan officer for Ultimate Home Lending, your mortgage guy, and Rylar Masco of Masco Realty. Welcome, you guys.
Thanks so much for having us. It's good to
thanks.
be back.
We're so happy to have you. Let's start with introductions about both of you. Josh, we'll start with you.
Awesome. Thanks, Heather. This is it's always so fun to be with you. Thanks for having us. My name is Josh McReavy, lifelong resident, born and raised right here in Utah, and have been in lending for 16 years. And here at Ultimate Home Lending, we help people live where they love.
And Rylar Masco with Masco Realty. It's a real estate team that me and my wife have built. We help people buy and sell homes all over Utah. And I'm happy to be here, happy to try and make my dad proud. He was in radio in Central Utah for over 30 years, so this is very exciting. Thanks for having me.
It's so awesome to have you. The biggest question in America, you guys, on the news right now is it the right time to buy now, or should I wait? Josh, how would you answer that question?
Yeah, that's, every day people are asking me that question. And, of course, we don't have a crystal ball, but, man, if you just look back at the last 100 years of real estate in Utah, we've obviously had a few dips, but more highs than anything. I was looking at the Utah real estate statistics the other day, and I thought this was really interesting, especially when people ask me that question. The average home price from last year till now has actually risen by 2.6%, and the number of closed homes year to date, year over year, so from 25 to 26, is up almost 3% from last year. So people are definitely buying, even in this weird market right now with interest rates. For sure.
Rylar, what makes today's housing market so different than what we've experienced just even a few years ago?
The market's been, kind of up and down, especially since COVID, right? And so what a lot of experiences people are having, I think, are just related to fear, right? Fear of the market, fear of what's going on internationally. Just there's a lot of fear-based decision-making when realistically we just need to take a step back and make the decision that makes financial sense for us and is best for our family.
For sure. Mortgage interest rates are currently averaging maybe around the mid to upper 6%, 7% range.
That's right.
That's significantly higher than the record lows many people remember from the pandemic years. Yet thousands of Americans and even thousands of Utahns continue buying homes every single month. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I'll just go first. Right now, this is being filmed in August. And interest rates are at, on the average, 6.75%. And back in February, it was 5.99%. And then we started this Iranian conflict, and things have gone up from there. But the interesting thing is it really has not slowed down that year-over-year rate. And so people are still, understanding that home prices are still appreciating, so going up. And so it's still a good time to buy, and we'll wait for that refi opportunity to come down. Hopefully once peace talks come and oil prices go back down, we'll see some interest rates go down. And I actually think that's when it's going to be another buying frenzy for sure.
I think so as well. Summer's over. We're going into the fall. So generally, home buying and selling slows down just a little bit. But one thing I've noticed specifically in my design business is that families usually don't move because of interest rates. They usually move because life changes. People get married, families grow, kids leave home, jobs change, businesses expand, and life keeps moving. How have you seen that same thing in lending?
Yeah, I totally agree. And on the lending side, it's, most people are not making the decision based off of interest rates. We are playing some games right now, especially on purchases, things like a 2-1 buy down. A 2-1 buy down is for the first year, the interest rate is down by 2%. In the second year, it's down by 1%. And then in year 3, it goes back to that normal rate. That's all paid by the seller. So people like Rylar, who are making these awesome offers and negotiating with sellers, they're negotiating some of those closing costs for a 2-1 buy down to actually help customers get in, have a little bit lower interest rate, and then hit that refi opportunity when it comes up.
So every morning when you wake up, what reports are you specifically watching so that you know how to best advise your clients, Rylar?
I'm just looking at the amount. A lot of times it's the amount of inventory that's out there. It's a pretty good indication of buyer demand as well as, how motivated sellers might be. And when interest rates are up, it does create an opportunity for buyers to get, like Josh was saying, a lot of things covered by the seller, right? So incentives to get better loan options, and they have more inventory to pick from. Sure, interest rates were great during COVID, but I mean, you had to just throw in an offer on pretty much anything that was out there. Whereas now I have the opportunity to take buyers around, show them several different homes, and actually find the best home for them instead of this one might work. We just got to get an offer in because we know there's going to be multiple offers. So, interest rates are higher, payments are a little bit higher, but there's also a lot more that you can work with from an inventory perspective as well as to get the sellers to cover a lot of costs.
For sure. Did you know that 1% difference in your mortgage interest rate can affect your purchasing power by roughly 10%? So basically what that means is someone who qualified for a $600,000 home at one rate might qualify for approximately $540,000 if rates increase by just 1 percentage point, which really could be an incredible difference and a deal breaker for a lot of first-time home buyers.
Yeah, that's such a great statistic. People don't really understand how much your interest rate truly does affect that. And then obviously, as a loan officer, I'm looking at their debt to income ratio. So if their monthly payment is a little bit higher because rates go up, then that is for sure something that we're struggling with, especially here in Utah. Gosh, the average first-time home buyer in America now is 40 years old. So Rylar and I are doing a lot of classes trying to make sure people in their 20s understand how to actually still get into a home today and start earning that appreciation, depreciation on your taxes, and not paying rent.
For sure. Okay, so here's something that I think really surprises people. Most buyers are waiting for interest rates to come down, so they're sitting on the sidelines just waiting for the perfect interest rate. While they're waiting, though, home prices may continue to increase. Rylar, I know that you are a real estate investor. I learned a little bit about you before the show, and you invest, I invest. Josh, you invest. We're in the market. We're not waiting for the perfect interest rate because oftentimes a higher interest rate means that we are not going to have the competition to buy a home and we have more negotiating room on that purchase price, correct?
Correct, yeah. For me, I think real estate investing is the money is made in the buy. And I think that always keeping options open so when the opportunity arises that you're ready to strike, right? So people that sit on the side, they may not even be seeing what's out there. They may not even see that, hey, there's, a great opportunity for, a condo that just came up for sale that's way underpriced because the seller's crazy motivated. So I think both for somebody that's looking for their first home and somebody that's an avid real estate investor, I think just being prepared always when rates are up, when rates are down, and you just got to strategize with the professionals like Josh, like myself, on how to make the situation best work for you. My strategies today are definitely different than my strategies in 2020, 2021. So yeah, they've shifted, but I'm still actively in the market, have bought something in the last little while.
For sure. And I think waiting actually does oftentimes cost a lot more. People don't just buy homes, they create homes. At Osmond Designs, I see families all the time moving into a home that needs work. However, 6 months later, after, transforming, remodeling, repainting, redoing the countertops, you really can make a dream home out of that space. And one thing I really hope listeners take away from this specific episode is that real estate has never been about chasing the perfect market. It's really about making wise, informed decisions that fit your family's goals. And like you said, it's in the buy. Get the right team on your side to help you negotiate and be prepared. So when the right house does come along, that you're ready. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores, here with Josh McReavy, owner and mortgage loan officer at Ultimate Home Lending, and Rylar Masco with Masco Realty. We'll be right back.
Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on the scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Some things are better when they're kept simple, like Simply Lemonade, made with real lemons and cane sugar, giving you a fresh, all-natural taste that shines through in every sip. It's the kind of drink that turns an everyday moment into something a little more special. Bright, refreshing, and crafted for people who appreciate the real thing. Visit the chilled juice aisle in your local grocery store today and say yes to simple.
Grainger knows when you're a procurement manager for an office park, you're not managing one building, you're managing all of them. And to stay ahead, you need to see through walls and around corners. Lights about to fail, filters ready to clog, HVAC on its last leg. If you wait until something breaks, you're already behind. Count on Grainger for quality products, easy reordering, and 24/7 support. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Something new is in store for you at your newly opened Denver King Soopers. Come explore our fresh sushi counter, where everything is rolled right here in-store every single day. And save $20 on your very first pickup or delivery order, making great food and true convenience easier than ever before. Come see us in Denver at 4201 East Arkansas Avenue.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs and brand new owner of the Best of State organization. Today we're visiting with mortgage expert Josh McReavy and Rylar Masco of Masco Realty. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So good to have you guys on the show today. We're visiting about all things real estate, but number one is, how do buyers get into the market? I have kids. They can't afford a home. How do we help them?
Yeah, right now, earlier in the show, I shared that the average first-time home buyer in America is now 40 years old. And that is just way too long for someone to actually get into real estate and start earning equity. So Rylar and I are doing a lot. We're on a mission, Heather, to make sure that people can buy a home in their 20s. And so we have a lot of tips and tools that both Rylar and I have actually lived so that we could get into homes earlier in our 20s. And so Rylar and I teach these classes on how to buy a home in your 20s. And one of the newer tools, it's just in the last 4 or 5 years, that I can actually use future rental income of someone's house to help them qualify. So let me break that down a little bit for you. So when someone goes to buy a home and their debt to income ratio is a little bit too high so they don't qualify, Rylar can help them find a home with like a basement apartment. That's called an ADU, or accessory dwelling unit. What we can do is we can actually make sure that that's a legal ADU, and then we can use future rental income. So let's say you can make $1,500 a month in rental income. As a loan officer, I can actually take 75% of that and add that right to your income. So that's like getting an $1,100 a month bonus by having a renter in your basement. Rylar, you've lived this as well. This is what you and your wife have done for the last 15 years. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I was actually 29 when we bought our first property, and you may be shocked. I know in this market everybody thinks the average is 40, but Josh, you and I have several closing on homes next week that are well below the 40. They're in their 20s, and I think it comes down to just discipline and then being intentional. My wife and I were the same way. So most importantly, we didn't carry like a ton of massive debt or things that would financially keep us from buying. And then once we got into the idea, we bought a townhome. And then after buying the townhome, we bought a house that had an ADU. The people in that basement ended up covering more than half of our mortgage. And it was helpful in us being able to qualify for even that house, right? And we have a lot of clients that do this. Josh and I teach classes on this. We'll continue to teach classes on house hacking and how it can help you get into a house, first off, but also how you can help offset a bunch of your mortgage with rental income.
That's amazing. I think a lot of people think to themselves, I'd love to own a home someday, but I don't think that I can afford it. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions in Utah is that homeownership is out of reach for the average family, but it's really not. I think this is something that really does surprise a lot of people, and many qualified buyers can purchase a home for far less than the misconception that you have to have 20% down, which most people can never do. Depending on the loan program, like you said, some conventional loans require as little as 3% down, and FHA loans can require 3.5% down. So really, sometimes the biggest obstacle isn't their finances, it's really misinformation. And that's why having someone like Josh and Rylar on your team to help you educate all the things that you need and prepare yourself. Even if you can't get in today, you can set some goals. You can save some money. You can decrease debt. Make a plan so that in 6 months or a year or even a few years, you can get into your first home.
Yeah, it's actually right on my way here. I got a phone call from a lady that lives nearby that's been renting for 20 years. She has 6 kids, and they're renting. They're paying almost $3,000 a month in rent and have been for about 20 years. So we talked about how to actually get a game plan on how she can get into her first home. And so we actually talked about this on how to get some rental income. And they're now looking into this. Now, there are a couple of things, like people don't know, like, I've got kind of some credit history problems, or, man, I just, made a little mistake here financially or whatever. No problem. People like Rylar and I, we are here for the long term. So there's been clients, at least I know, that I've waited on for like 18 months. We had to do some credit repair stuff. We had to get a game plan. They had to save up a little bit more money. But it's better than waiting 20 years. To try and have that conversation. So Rylar and I love to consult with people. Rylar and his wife also teach some awesome financial classes and help people understand how this works. You guys are actually the Dave Ramsey qualified agents as well.
Yeah, so we're certified coaches through Dave Ramsey as well as his endorsed local real estate agents. We do that, and we don't do that. We don't offer coaching outside of our clients. We want to just help our real estate clients. And to that point, you and I had a mutual client that I remember we met with 2 years ago, and they were distraught. We're never going to be able to afford a home. They were down on themselves. We got in place. We got some goals set up, and they just closed on their home just a couple months ago. So it is possible, and they were in their 20s. They were in their mid-20s is all, but they got intentional. They made some life changes, and now they're in a house.
That's incredible. So if there is someone listening right now, you're a renter, you're discouraged, and you honestly believe that you'll never own a home, what's the one piece of advice that you'd want them to hear today?
Talk to people that are in your corner. talk to lenders, talk to realtors, talk to financial coaches, talk to people that want you to succeed and want you to win, and they'll get you a game plan in place and they'll make it happen.
That's awesome. The first step isn't finding the perfect home. It's finding the right plan and the right team to guide you. How do people find both of you?
For us, we do a lot of social media, but most importantly, most of our business is with people we know and then people that refer to us, just because we want what's best for our clients. We put our clients first. Our motto is clients before commissions, and I think we do a good job of that. And we help people of all phases, some people that are older, some people that are younger, first-time home buyers, all the way to savvy real estate investors.
For sure. Home ownership isn't reserved for people who have it all figured out. So ask questions, find the right team to help you along the way. Let's make goals and get our kids and our grandkids into homes to strengthen Utah's economy. It's a great investment, probably the best investment you'll ever make. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm Kiana, and I leveled up my business with Shopify. Once I figured out that Shopify was a thing, I never turned back. I can create a site with my eyes closed. Shopify thinks ahead of us, and it thinks about the customer more than anything. Every day I'm thinking about some other new business, but Shopify is doing it to me because it's so easy to use. It's like I can't stop. I'm addicted.
Start your free trial at Shopify.com.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Progressive presents the Museum of You.
We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the emo era. A rare find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then, you could protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with a renter's policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Meet Keith, loving dad, board game champ, bus driving pro.
I drive 65,000 miles in my bus each year. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. Like how there are some things I simply can't see. On my route the other day, a car tried to sneak past me and ends up right in my blind spot. I turned slowly, so accident avoided. But no car should be in the blind spot for a 40,000-pound bus. It's our roads. It's our safety.
Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Paragold has luxury homes' largest selection of outdoor furniture, lighting, decor, and more. Discover pieces in every style from more than 2,000 of design's best brands. Shop in-store or online at Paragold.com. Paragold, luxury lives here.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home. From our sponsor, Osmond Designs, here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Kaplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of the Osmond Designs and the brand new owner of the Best of State Company. And today we're talking with mortgage expert Josh McReavy and also Rylar Masco of Masco Realty. Welcome back, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. During our first two segments, we talked a lot about buying a home and financing a home, but now I'd like to talk about something much bigger, and that is how home ownership creates wealth. They always say, real estate builds wealth. 90% of all millionaires made their money in real estate. And we always think to ourselves, well, there must be a millionaire's playbook. Where's the book that I can read? What do I need to do? I've always heard, every champion was once a rookie, and you have to start somewhere. And oftentimes that's just getting into the market. Josh, you guys help homeowners do this.
Yeah. Rylar and I have both kind of understood the real estate game early on in our lives. And so one of the things that we're on a second mission to really help with is not only first-time home buyers, but people who already own a home, and they're seeing all their friends like invest in real estate and buy down in St. George and all this fun stuff, but they don't really understand how to make it actually work. So we have a class called the Strategic Upgrader class. Now, when you buy your first home, it's probably, you probably don't have kids yet, but now you do. And you're busting at the seams. No one has their own bedroom anymore. And maybe you're looking for a bigger yard or a different location. So Rylar and I help people understand how to actually start investing in real estate. So keeping your first home, turning it into a rental. And you might have bought during COVID or right before COVID, and you have an awesome interest rate. You've gained a bunch of appreciation in your house, and now you can rent it out and now go buy another house. So this strategic upgrader class helps people understand how they can actually afford that. Similarly, like we talked about in house hacking, I can, as a loan officer, take 75% of the future rental income on your existing home or your departing home, and we can actually offset your current mortgage now with that new rental income. So for most of our clients, on paper, from my guidelines, they don't actually have any payment towards their old house. They're getting rental income. People are paying for most of their entire mortgage there, and then they're going and buying that next house. The only thing they have to really come up with is that down payment. So there's a couple options. The first, they either have their own cash they've saved up for a 5% down payment on their next home, or we have a HELOC program that takes 4 days to get, and we can get you that money, equity out of your existing home, and put that towards your first home or your next home.
Yeah, and these aren't just words that we're saying. We actually have clients. We've done this many times this year, many examples. And I want to point out that not everybody's client or not all of our clients' situation is the same. But the playbook is similar, and then we just use the playbook, during our class, we kind of teach the basics, but then Josh and I sit down with every single client and come up with a customized plan. I mean, we've had two very different situations this year, but both of them ended up moving up in house, starting to rent out their properties, and their current situations were different. But the important thing is to get an idea, get a plan in place, and then you know what you need to do to take those next steps, whether it be to get the HELOC or to save up or to look at specific types of properties or whatnot. But the class is really helpful in giving the basics, and then we love to sit down and customize a plan.
Okay, so let me just reiterate. There's good debt and there's bad debt. And real estate is generally very good debt. Do not be afraid of good debt. Bad debt is credit cards and cars that depreciate. Real estate, generally, specifically in Utah, if you buy it right, it's going up in value, which is amazing. So, you get a mortgage, get that debt, then you get equity, then you get appreciation, and then you get net worth. So I would call that the wealth equation, the 4 steps.
Yes.
Get a mortgage, get some equity, get some appreciation, and that will equal net worth, which we're all happy about.
Yeah, there's actually 3 ways to make money in investing in real estate. That's appreciation. So, like I mentioned earlier, the average home in Utah went up by 2.6% in appreciation. The next one is depreciation. So especially where you have a rental house, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax advisor, but you ought to ask your tax and accountant about how to take depreciation off of your taxes. So, people that have a W-2 job or they're self-employed, having a rental, you can actually offset some of your costs and pay less in income tax. And then the third would be when you sell, you gain that equity and move it into something else.
For sure. One of my favorite quotes says, the average person works for money. Wealthy people put their money to work for them. And that is all of this rental things that we've been talking about. Back in the day, we did something very similar to you, Rylar, where we purchased our first home. We lived in the basement and we rented the entire upstairs for our mortgage. And we saved and we saved and we saved. And then we purchased our next home. And we did that over and over and over again. And I think we did it so much that even our parents thought that we were crazy. They're like, you guys need to stop.
That's when you know you're doing it right.
Yeah, exactly. We had no friends. We were just bouncing around all over the place. But it was really, really great. Over the long term, U.S. residential real estate has generally appreciated. Even though there have been periods of decline, that's one reason so many families have built wealth through home ownership over decades, rather than trying to perfectly time the market. Why is thinking long-term so important, Rylar?
The long-term play in real estate is really important because that's how appreciation happens, and that's also how your income that you get from the rental properties will generally increase over time while your mortgage stays relatively the same. So then your cash flow increases as well as your appreciation, all the while, like Josh said, you're depreciating your assets to save on taxes. All those things have been a massive blessing in our life and have helped us achieve a net worth that we would not have been able to achieve without real estate.
So one thing I've just always respected about Rylar and his wife is you've done this multiple times, and you have multiple homes all over Utah, and some are short-term, some are mid-term, and some are long-term rentals. Tell us a little bit more about like your strategy there.
We've generally bought properties first where, other than buying a property, keeping it, and upgrading like we're talking about, we also then decided after kind of building a portfolio that way that we wanted to buy properties where we like to travel to. We were spending money to stay in places we like to travel to, so we went to the midterm and short-term game of buying places where we like to travel to. You helped us buy our first one that way. You helped us get a mortgage, and we were able to buy a property. We still have it to this day. It's been a massive blessing, but whenever we get to go down to southern Utah, whenever I go back to my hometown in Manti, I've got a place to stay. I'm not a tax professional, but I get to write off a lot of my travels when I do travel to the places that I love, so I'm saving money and I'm building wealth.
I think that is incredible. Okay, so let's imagine two people. They both earn exactly the same income. One rents for 30 years and the other owns real estate for 30 years. How different could their financial future be?
The exact opposite of each other. Yeah.
Exactly.
End of story.
So different.
So think about this. I especially in these first-time home buyer classes where everyone there is renting or they're living with mom and dad. My question is, what percentage rate are you paying every month when you're renting? And like most people think about it like interest rate. I don't. And the answer is 100% interest.
Yeah.
You get zero of that back. None of it is equity. And so while renting may be good in certain points in your life, or it might be a necessity, getting in and actually earning equity, it's a forced savings account every single month. I mean, over a 30-year period, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars in difference of net worth, and taking some tax write-offs as well.
And oftentimes you can make more money in your real estate equity than you can working your day job, your 40-hour-a-week day job. So get in the market. If you could mentor your 25-year-old self, what would you do differently, you guys? There's a pause.
Well, I didn't buy my first home till I was 29. I waited probably longer than I should have. For me, it would have just been to get in as soon as it made financial sense. We thought we had to have way more saved up than we needed to, and so we actually waited. We probably could have bought at around 25, and I wish we would have. So I think anybody listening, just you're never going to be able to time the market. People always try to. You're not going to be able to. So for me, I just suggest all my friends, family, clients, make the purchase when it makes financial sense for you and buy something that's going to work for you. And then the play needs to be long-term, right?
And I got to say, whenever you're buying a house, everybody we've ever worked with kind of like confides like, hey, am I doing the right thing here? I'm a little nervous. It's always a little bit scary. I totally understand that. Back to your question too of what advice would I give in your 20s? You're going to have a lifetime to buy the toys, do the fun big trips, all of that kind of stuff. Get started in buying real estate, making good investments, allow those investments that keep earning equity, allow you to afford that type of lifestyle in your 30s and 40s.
I remember a quote that both of my parents always said when we were growing up, and it was work now or work later. So oftentimes we had many of our friends were in condos with swimming pools and had brand new cars, and we were investing and we were living in horrible conditions, right? I mean, some of the homes we bought were probably needed to be demoed, but we lived in them and we loved every minute of it. And when we would sell them or we would rent them out after we had done new paint and carpet, we would just smile. We thought this was the coolest thing. And it just continued to compound, and we started just making so much money, which is amazing. So what I would do differently, get in the market. I would get in the market earlier, and I would have, even just a few years ago, I would have probably purchased 10 more homes at that 3% interest rate. Yeah. Looking back, I'm like, are you kidding, Heather? You know this. You do a radio show. What were you waiting for? Why did you sit on the sidelines and not buy more properties? We love doing this KSL Real Estate Show. We're going to be right back. Stay tuned. We have Josh McReavy and Rylar Masco on the show with us today. We'll be right back.
Paragold has luxury homes' largest selection of outdoor furniture, lighting, decor, and more. Discover pieces in every style from more than 2,000 of design's best brands. Shop in-store or online at Paragold.com. Paragold, luxury lives here.
Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on the scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
When you're a maintenance engineer in a beverage manufacturing plant, you keep production lines moving and quality on track because there's no room for slowdowns. With Grainger's vast selection of high-quality motors, sensors, belts, and hard-to-find parts, you can get what you need fast and all in one place, so nothing gets in the way of getting the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat, emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending, zero tears. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Hi, I'm Katie Duke, and I've been a nurse for over 20 years. Listen, I used to think that I was my most stylish in my 20s, but honestly, style and confidence only get better with age. And that is why I love Figs. These scrubs are beautiful, comfortable, and they are built to last. They're not those boxy, scratchy uniforms that we all started out in. No. These fit perfectly. They feel amazing, and the quality is just wow! My favorite color? Burgundy. It's chic, it's timeless, and it's even the same color as my apartment, because I'm kind of obsessed with it. And I love adding custom embroidery to make my scrubs as personal as my style. And since I work in telehealth, my embroidered figs even double as my ID badge. It's never too late to reinvent yourself or your scrubs. Get 15% off your first order at wearfigs.com with the code FIGSRX. That's wearfigs.com, code FIGSRX for 15% off your first order.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the final segment of the KSL Real Estate Show. This is going to be my wheelhouse, furniture and interior design, but it really is so important for all homeowners, whether you're buying a new home or you're planning on remodeling your home, to know where to make smart improvements. Rylar Masco, you are an expert in this as well. You invest in real estate. What are some of the things that you would recommend a homeowner or a buyer spend their money on that will give them long-term investment ROI?
Perfect. My wife and I have bought most of our properties have all been what I would call fixer-uppers. Maybe not demo ready, but have all been original, maybe the 90s, 2000s. The one thing on the buying side that usually gets you an opportunity for a better deal, right? Because most people are looking for move-in ready, remodeled, and so the competition is a lot higher, prices are a lot higher. On something that needs a little bit of a cosmetic love, there can be a lot better. You can get a better deal. You can get the seller to pay for more things. The thing that's going to get you a lot of the appreciation is related to the exterior of the home, how the look of it is, the curb appeal, as we like to call it. The next would be kind of what I call the heart of the home, right? The kitchen, the living room, kind of the heart of the home where most of the time, a lot of the time is spent. And that's the thing that most people look at when they're walking through a house. When buyers are walking through, they pay attention to the kitchen and the heart of the home. And then the last thing would be the master or the primary suite, because that's where a lot of people, obviously, are concerned about because that's where they spend the next most part of their time. So those 3 areas: curb appeal, the heart of the home, the kitchen area, and then the primary suite would be the 3 areas to focus on.
I agree. And staged homes do sell for more money in a quicker amount of time than non-staged home or vacant homes. There is a reason why builders spend so much money on those model homes, because not only is walking through the home and looking at all of the spaces and the room size is important, but seeing how you can picture yourself in that home makes all the difference. So having it well lit, having it smell clean, having paint that's touched up, all those little things make a big, big difference. Having your grass mowed. I mean, you drive by a home. It's very, very important. But even let's talk a little bit about technology and online presence. Before anyone ever drives by your home or walks into your home, they're seeing it online. How does that affect real estate values these days?
Yeah, so we love a staged home, whether that be with their own personal belongings if they live there, or whether it's a vacant home. We love having it staged. Like you said, it just shows so much better. It makes buyers get more emotional about it. They can visualize themselves there better. But for us, we really like to focus on doing a 3D tour, doing social media videos, highlighting the benefits to the house on all those platforms to drive the traffic to the house. Because once they get to the house, hopefully they fall in love with it. But they're never going to fall in love with it until they get there and see it.
For sure. One thing I've loved about today's conversation is that we've talked a lot about numbers, but at the end of the day, buying a home isn't just a financial decision. It's deeply personal, especially if it's somewhere that you are planning on living and raising your family. After we've done all of those flips and, bought and sold or purchased and then kept and leased to someone else, eventually my kids went to school and I wanted to have friends again. And I wanted to have neighbors. And that was very, very important to me. What's the most rewarding part of your job?
Well, my slogan is, I love to help people live where they love. And, I'll just share a quick story. We lived in West Jordan for the first 10 years of our marriage, had a couple homes. That's actually where we met Rylar. And we just had this big dream. I married a woman from Texas. And so big horse girl, big properties. And so we had a 10-year goal to live in the Wasatch Back. And Rylar actually helped us buy that home. And one of the biggest things is we have 6 kids. And so raising kids on a street where we want to raise them, our first home was real crappy. Pink carpets, popcorn ceiling, green appliances. And we did exactly what Rylar was talking about. Make little improvements, change the carpet, do some sweat equity. And over a 10-year period, we got to buy our dream home. And so I think just having that goal and vision and then just loving where you live.
I love that so much. The goal is to make wise decisions that your future self and your family will thank you for. Both of you, thank you so much for joining us today. How do people find you?
For us, it's mascorealty.com or Masco Realty on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
And then for me, it's yourmortgageguy.org.
Love that. Buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions that most people will ever make, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming when you have the knowledgeable professionals walking beside you. Whether you're buying your first home, moving into your forever home, investing in rental properties, or simply trying to understand today's market, education is your greatest asset. The more you learn today, the more confident you'll be tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next week.